How did the Springboks manage to overcome the All Blacks and put through what has now become a historic win, beating them 43-10 at Wellington, and has now become their biggest loss there? This is a big moment for the Springboks, but how did they do it? I want to break this down in this video, so please like, subscribe. If you guys do want to drop a super thanks to help the channel grow, that would be lovely, and you will get a personalized response from me. But as always, let's get into it. Now, we got to look into a couple different things here. One is the squad itself. We look at Eden Park and then we look at this game. Big changes in terms of the squads. We were very experienced in the last squad, but we lacked that fire. We lacked that energy, that presence. We looked slow, and we saw it in the first 17 minutes of the game. We ended up going behind 2 tries, which ultimately really cost us a lot of points and a lot of time. We were second to the mark. The All Blacks were beating us at almost every single point. So what did Rassie do? He ended up going for a completely different backline. Our squad was a lot more mobile. It was a lot more... We held that same kind of strength, but we were just that much more agile. We were just that much quicker. And that is exactly what we needed to really put pressure on the All Blacks, who were very, very, very fast to the rucks. As we saw in this game, we managed to beat them at almost every single ruck. We were faster, and we successfully managed more rucks than the All Blacks did. So we look into the game itself. We had a lot more speed. We had a lot more energy, as we saw in the first couple minutes. We managed to put through a lot of pressure, and yes, albeit we went down through Leroy Carter's try relatively early on in the game. We gathered strength and we really, gelled very well together. Managed to get the points back, and in the second half managed to have 36 unanswered points over the All Blacks. So we did enough in the first half to settle the game. Even though we went through injury after injury, HIA after HIA, we lost quite a few players relatively early on. And Cheslin Kolbe, it was just one of those where Cheslin Kolbe, I literally left to go to the toilet for Cheslin Kolbe. It was something as simple as that. I came back and we had scored a try. How did we manage that? And then I ended up looking back. It was such a beautiful try, intercepted try, and the Springboks just looked switched on. From every single moment, I promised myself I am not going to have any more breaks. I am going to watch this. I'm going to watch this till the end, just in case I miss anything. And honestly, we were on it. We were there, and that first half was tight. There was a lot of pressure from the All Blacks. The All Blacks had some serious moments where they were, scary, really, really scary. I mean, we also saw Jordie Barrett, his try-saving tackle on Cheslin Kolbe, managed to rip that ball away from him. That was a real moment where I had my hands in my hair wondering, how did he manage to do this? If it was anyone else, it would have gone through. But Cheslin Kolbe just was unable to keep hold of that ball. It popped out just before they hit the floor, and absolute brilliance. I'm a big fan of Jordie Barrett, but today he really, really annoyed me. So yeah, we forced them to kick under pressure. We put them under constant alert. And at the breakdown, we were fierce. When you have the likes of Jasper Wiese, who I truly do feel was a real game changer here. And he was one of the players that was really physical, really in their face, forced a lot of contact. And to be able to put Taukei'aho on his backside the way he did, that's something special. That really, really is something special. But then we look into the second half. Now, this is where things start to get interesting, because we had a little bit of changes, some tactical shifts, and after this, the New Zealand scrum really, really started to struggle. They were far less stable. The Springboks were taking far more advantage of it. And we started to see the Springboks really start to gain power, to be a lot more consistent in their set pieces. We increased the tempo. We started to put them under far more pressure. And honestly, from the first half, majority of the players looked dead. We saw it in Will Jordan's face. We saw it in Beauden Barrett's face. They were tired. That heavy tempo that the Springboks forced the All Blacks to keep was ridiculous. So they already wanted to pass out from that. Never mind starting the second half. And then being put under even more tempo, more pressure. Kobus Reinach had a very, very big part to play in that, using those little darting runs, playing that ball off quick, using the likes of our big players, using the likes of Jasper Wiese just to cause absolute havoc. And our blitz defense really put the All Blacks under constant pressure, no matter which way you look at it. So we talk about the blitz defense, and this really, really worked. And I think the only reason it worked the way it did, especially up against the All Blacks, was A, because of our fitness, B, because of the players that we had that were able to keep that kind of tempo, keep that pace on the All Blacks. We did not let up. I mean, yeah, we had a couple changes, but I mean, when you have the likes of Pieter Steff, Sio Kolisi, Jasper Wiese in your face, just constantly in your face. And then even you have someone like Kobus Reinach, who he made himself a terror as well. But just at every single point, whether it was our forwards, our backs, we were in their face nonstop. We forced errors. We forced that pressure ball. Now, unfortunately for them, they did lose Noah Hotham relatively early. I think he only played for something like 10 minutes, and that definitely didn't help them. I did say that I think it's a bit risky playing Noah Hotham already. I thought Finney Christie should have started the game and maybe have Noah Hotham come on around the 50th, 60th minute to see out the game. But yeah, that didn't exactly help him. But they really kept the Springboks. The Springboks really kept them under wraps. I think they only had a handful of entries into our 22, where we had over 12 entries into theirs. I think the only time that they actually were properly effective in our 22 was for Leroy Carter's try, which it was beautiful play, right? And it left Leroy Carter, and you don't want to be leaving him in that kind of space because he truly is rapid. But the rate of tackles, the defensive shifts from everybody, and the positions that they put the All Blacks under to kick from awkward positions, just to get that ball back. We were brilliant in the air. We were constantly gaining back possession. And, we really made life a living nightmare for them. So from disrupting their rhythm to, that line speed was just absolutely ridiculous. And we made it very difficult to play inside and outside. At points, it really felt like they didn't know what they were doing. And I think that's down to the way Rassie ended up choosing. And Rassie did say he learned from these mistakes. They understand exactly what they need to do to get the best result out of this game. And my word, they did. They really did. So it was just an all-out masterpiece from our defensive display, from that defensive prowess, that fight, that fire that we had. We did not give up. We saw it in so many players. Even Andre Esterhuizen on that last try, he was bloody. They were willing to die on that pitch. And that is exactly what you expect of the Springboks. Nothing less. And it was because of that fight we ended up getting the best out of the All Blacks. So in the second half, we saw tries from Cheslin Kolbe, Willemse, Kwagga Smith, Archie Snyman, Andre Esterhuizen. Big tries, especially, and honestly, the try that Kwagga Smith had just goes to show how offensively quick we can be, with Ethan Hooker just absolutely shredding in that midfield and then just playing that ball. You could see that he was tired. Ended up playing it off. I can't remember who it was that got the ball to Pieter Steff. Pieter Steff, using those long, lanky arms, brings it down, gets it in, uses that momentum, throws it off to Kwagga Smith, and then using Kwagga Smith, just that little bit of extra energy to get it down. That is exactly what we needed. It was that fight, that willingness to run and run and run that really, really helped the Springboks get the win. Now, at some point, the game was won, and you could tell on the All Blacks' faces that fatigue was setting in, which is why we ended up having a flurry of tries late at the end, especially under Esterhuizen. But, look, the score finished 43-10. South Africa scoring 6 tries to the All Blacks 1. The South Africa dominated in terms of meters, post-contact meters. They dominated in tries. They dominated in carries. They dominated when it came to tackles. They dominated when it came to their set pieces. So, yes, the All Blacks are going to speak about the referee and how they felt it was unfair and how that the referee awarded forward passes to the All Blacks and not to the Springboks. And I find it's always the one of the two things. And don't get me wrong, I love the All Blacks, as I get a lot of smack when I do praise them. They are amazing, but there always seems to be an excuse. Whether they are winning, oh my God, we're the best, or when we lose, oh, it's the referee's fault for us losing the game. I'm sorry, but the referee did not cause you to concede 6 tries. They did not cause you to concede 6 tries. We did not hear any of this when you beat us at Eden Park. But now, all of this is coming out. Take the loss. It is what it is. We got to see amazing rugby. I'm just happy that we got to see this amazing game. Yes, I am happy as a Springbok that we got to do this. Yes, history was made. Yes, it's a sour feeling. And I actually got a comment saying, I guess this is how the South Africans felt after Ellis Park. And it really is. It's a sour taste when you have something like this happen to you. But it's not the end of the world. It is not the end of the world. New Zealand still had some good players. Wallace Atiti played relatively well. Adi Surveyor, as always, he put in a shift and a half. Unfortunately, the players like your Finley Christie, Tupou Vaa'i, who had such a spectacular game at Eden Park, fell short. Really fell short here. And Scott Barrett had a horrible game. He was found out. He could not keep up with the tempo. And unfortunately, a lot of the All Blacks were unable to keep up with the tempo that the Springboks put on them. He just did. Wallace Atiti struggled without the support. Same thing with Adi Surveyor. They just were not on it. It happens. You can never have a perfect game or a perfect run of games, especially when you're playing with the best teams in the world. So I wasn't expecting a 43-10, but it was a brilliant game nonetheless. So I would love, absolutely love to hear what your thoughts on this. Why do you think the All Blacks lost this game? Were they not prepared? Were they expecting to outplay the Springboks? And honestly, I was a little bit scared, considering this was kind of the same route that we were going for Australia in that first test. And we kind of got a hiding. But Rassie seems to have learned his mistakes. Ethan Hooker had a brilliant game. But we also got to see a little glimpse into the future of that Springbok back line. And to be honest, I'm liking it. So drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to have a comment and support the channel, drop a super thanks. It's really appreciated. As always, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.